Don't have children use ChatGPT. Don't have students use ChatGPT. Well, unless you want them to get left behind. Many school districts are already putting policies in place where teachers have access to ChatGPT, generative AI, Gemini, Copilot, you name it, Perplexity. But we don't give students access, and there may be a reason why. It's really easy to help adults because the adults want access so that they can be more efficient and make their jobs easier. But students not having access, if they don't have access, well, they do have access because they go home and they're going to use it anyway, and they're going to take all their homework and throw it into ChatGPT and say, do this for me. It's going to make them more efficient because then they can go either outside and play. Well, maybe that's back in the late 1900s or 1970s, 80s, and 90s. They wanted to go outside and play. They may want to go in their backyard to play soccer. They may want to be on their next gaming system. And that's what ChatGPT can do for them. It can do their homework for them. ChatGPT can do their homework for them. But I would challenge you and say, if you're a parent, if you're a teacher, and you know students are using it. Now, if you're a teacher, you do want to go by what your district is asking you, but you may want to push a little bit and say, what if we teach students how to use ChatGPT in a way that helps them use it as a tool and not a means for cheating or doing the work for them, but with them? Now, I have created a PDF document of prompt engineering formulas. Now, I didn't invent the formulas, but I will say that if you go to OpenAI, you can read all about prompt engineering. And if you have the time to read it, you're probably going to be a little bit overwhelmed. But here's what I did. I created a tool for you to look at where you can use ChatGPT as a start to say, how can I make this accessible for students? Now, if you're a parent, this would be really helpful because your children are going to use it anyway. There are parts of getting into an input in ChatGPT that will help you. There's always a task. You want to start with something, be clear, write this for me, summarize, explain, compare. That's easy. Write a recipe for me. Very simple. Context, but you give it a background, you give it context. If you're a teacher, you're like, I am a fifth grade teacher, I'm a chemistry teacher, I'm a 12th grade physics teacher. That's context. You're giving it some information about what is happening. And then an exemplar or an example. As a science teacher, what I found was that if I gave students a really good research paper before I taught them how to do research, they had a window and a memory of information that was put in front of them to help them do better. They got to see an outline of a well written document that said, wow, this is what I have to do by the end of semester, by the end of the year, by the end of the 2 weeks, which gives them the ability to understand where they're going. Like, why do we make learning a secret? Go do a research paper. That's really hard if you don't have something to look at. We call that an exemplar, an example. But maybe there's a role or a persona. Maybe you want them to, you're a teacher, or maybe you want them to be an actor of something. Then there's format. Like, do you want it to have bullets? We call those markdowns. Do you want it to be in paragraph form? Do you want it to just write everything you want in a list? That is format. Tone. Is it a mood? Is it a vibe? Is it exciting? Is it academic? Is it kindergarten? Is it fifth grade? Is it my voice? Is it Einstein's voice? Tone. Now, iteration, somewhat optional. Like, all of these are optional except number one, because you do need to actually give it a task. So, starting with a basic prompt, checking the output, adding more detail. So, iteration, if you know how to use Canvas, meaning you tell ChatGPT, use Canvas so I can edit as I go, that's an iteration. You're tinkering with the actual prompt, making it better as you go. Now, here are some examples of formulas. Now, these are all of these. So you might have a task and context. Do this. I am going to give you some background information. Do task and context and exemplar. Task, persona, format. You could have all of them. Or you could just have a task, and then we're going to work on this prompt together because this is the prompt I want students to use. Now, here is an example of that. So this is my opinion, simple. But if you're a parent and you're thinking, there is no way I can help my child with calculus, periodic table, I left that back in college. I didn't look at it ever since. But if you can create a nice formula for students to start with, or even teach them how to prompt engineer, this is an example of that. Using Formula 2, which this is Formula 2, Task, help me understand the rows and columns of the periodic table. Okay, rows and columns. Some of you are like, what is that? Period and groups. But you can go look that up or just put this prompt in there. Context, I'm trying to learn the structure of the periodic table. And then an exemplar. You can upload the periodic table that your teacher or that you like to use, and that is your exemplar. It is an example of what you want to actually use. There are a plethora of periodic tables. That's why I said use that as an exemplar. Now, this one, I kind of pushed the envelope a little bit. Um, Let me make sure I grab it a little, slow myself down. So this one is a little bit harder. Formula, role, task, context, exemplar, and task again. So role, you're my research partner. You're going to be doing something in an APA. Task, this might even be context, APA research. You might, even though it says context here, task, guide me step by step through the writing about the integration of science and the historical context of the periodic table. Context, do not do this paper for me. We are just thought processing through ideas. Now it's telling you that it's a thought partner. Remember, this has to be my work. We're teaching children how to use ChatGPT as a tool and not do the work for them, but with them. It's kind of like having a teacher right next to you or another student, a peer to peer conversation. Exemplar, see the notes I have uploaded and any articles I've already found so you can review them before we begin. Now, you may want to say, I've already read the articles. Here are my notes from the articles, and maybe verify my notes. ChatGPT is not perfect. That is why being a thought partner is so much better. Now, another task, ask me questions to guide me through the thinking and organizing of my thoughts. I think we get caught in how to use ChatGPT in a way that helps us inform what we're doing and how we can use it to become a tool. So, what we can do is we can go back here and let me see if I can grab that prompt. Like, this is the prompt here. We can grab this prompt. We can put the prompt right in ChatGPT and see if this works. We didn't add the exemplar prompt. Here's prompt formula 2. So I am asking you to do this. So let me redo it because I said this is the task. Let me remove this because it's getting confused. That's my fault. And we can find periodic table. See if I can find one that we use already. Periodic table of elements. Here, this is the one that students get on the California State Assessment. Simple, my opinion, simple, right? So we'll take that. We'll upload this one from files. We'll go to the downloads. There it is. We'll hit enter once it's complete. Let's see if it explains what it is. Okay. Okay, now it's doing the prompt. It's got confused because I asked ChatGPT to help me create these prompts. So it's thinking about that. So if you had entered this, it probably wouldn't have done that because it doesn't have background. So understanding the rows and columns of the periodic table, rows are periods. The horizontal rows are called periods. There are 7 main periods in the table. As you move from left to right in the period, the atomic number, top number in each box increases by one each step. And I would probably push it like, how do you know the atomic number is different than the atomic mass? And then the columns, the vertical columns are called groups or families. There are 18 groups in total. Elements in the same group are similar chemical properties because they have the same number of valence electrons. Now, so this is like middle school level. And I quite honestly, I would almost want to push it a little bit and bring it down to layman's terms. And there are ways you can do this. Now I'm going to actually say thank you. I will be back to break this down more. The reason why is because I already know that that's a lot to look at for a middle school student. And I would want to tell ChatGPT to change it up. And I will say, use Canvas. Let's chat. So now I'm saying use Canvas. So now it's opening it up so that I can edit everything. So even here, now, if you didn't know what you didn't know, I am now going to go over here to the right and show you that I can change the length, the reading level, I can finish it, or I can add emojis. So I'm going to change the reading level to, it says middle school, and but I'm going to go down to kindergarten only because it already said middle school. And I believe a middle school student could access this because I taught middle school science periodic table. So now this is better. The lines that go side to side are called rows. Great. Example, one row goes from lithium to neon. So if you were to look at that periodic table, you could see lithium all the way to neon. And if I was a student, I would now say, ask me questions about the rows and columns. And then I would say, what is the difference between atomic number and mass? Why? Because mass is a fraction. It could possibly be a fraction. And the atomic number is a whole number. And that number is based on the number of protons. And I would hope that it would tell me that. And I don't know that it did. I'm going to ask it again. Again, okay, here we go. The atomic number, and maybe it was there already, I missed it. The small number, it tells you how many protons are in an atom. Atomic mass, the bigger number can have decimals, fractions of a point. It tells you how heavy the atom is based on protons and neutrons together. Like, and I would maybe want to elaborate on this because neutrons can change, protons cannot. And explain, now watch this, explain protons as the numbers get higher. Like there's so many things that I could do if I can get students to think about their thinking and have a little fun with this. Because what I would want it to do is tell me that as the numbers get higher, you go from hydrogen to helium to lithium. And that if you have two protons, you have helium. If you have three protons, you have lithium. So these are things that you can help your own children at home, or how you can help use the prompt engineering formulas to teach students how to use ChatGPT as a tool. Now, I want to thank you so much for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Make sure you comment and tell me how you are using ChatGPT to inform maybe your instruction, your business world, or helping your own children at home. I do have this PDF available for you in the description. Please enjoy and let me know how I can support you in your ChatGPT journey.